All right, so you're dying to see the Italian Riviera, but you want to avoid those Cinque Terre crowds, right? We've all seen the photos. Gorgeous, sure, but totally packed. You're hoping for something, well, maybe a little more exclusive.
I totally get it. It's
Good.
all about finding that sweet spot. You want the charm, the beauty of the Italian coast, but maybe with a little more breathing room, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And hey, maybe a touch of something special, right?
Exactly. And wouldn't you know it, our sources this time around, they point us toward two destinations, and get this, they couldn't be more different. We're talking Portofino and Porto Venere. But first up, let's hop on over to Portofino. It's this place. And Rick Steves himself even calls it the movie star of the Italian Riviera.
You know what? That's a pretty spot-on description. I mean, Portofino just has this, like, undeniable glamour. You know, it's got this whole history that's, like, totally mixed up with the rich and famous.
Oh, yeah. I can already picture it, sipping on something bubbly on a yacht. Okay, maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. But really, how do we even get to this Italian movie set?
Well, if you're asking Rick Steves, he'd say the best way to make an entrance is by boat. You'll be leaving from Santa Margherita, Ligure.
A short little trip, really. Only about 15 minutes, and it shouldn't cost you more than like $7 to $11.
All right, a deal's a deal, but I see where you're going with this. So we take in the views, hop off the boat, and boom, we're in Portofino. Where to first on this glamorous little itinerary of ours?
Oh, Castello Brown for sure.
Castello Brown it is. Okay, so picture this.
Yeah.
A castle, right? But it's perched up high on a hill, and it's surrounded by these gardens all overlooking the harbor. And I'm not just talking about a pretty view here, okay? Although, yeah, I'm sure it's stunning. But inside, it's full of actual artifacts, period furniture. This is a glimpse into the lives of the people who actually called this place home.
See, that's where it gets really interesting. It's one thing to visit somewhere beautiful, but to actually get its story, to see the art and the objects that shaped its past, that's what really gets me. Totally. Okay, so castle visit check. Now, are we ready for some 12th century architecture with our stunning harbor views because San Giorgio Church is calling our names? And Rick Steves, he even gives us a little heads up here. Dress modestly. Clearly a place where history and, well, reverence are still really important.
You know, it's a good reminder that even in a destination known for, well, glamour, you're still walking through centuries of history, centuries of culture.
So true. Okay, for our next stop, we've got a choice to make. We could go for a scenic little hike. It's about 1.7 miles, or we stroll from the Piazzetta. But either way, we're ending up at the lighthouse of Portofino. And I'm hearing rumors of incredible views and, wait for it, maybe even a cocktail or two.
Hey, all work and no play, right? Portofino, it's all about balance. Explore the historic sites, treat yourself to a little luxury, and enjoy the scenery. And honestly, what better way to soak it all in than from a lighthouse lounge with a nice, refreshing drink in hand?
All right, you've convinced me. But you know me, I can't resist a little beach time. And when in Portofino, it's gotta be Bagnifiore. This isn't just any beach, though. This place, get this, it was redesigned by Dior just back in 2022. We're talking cabanas, a bar, a restaurant, the whole 9 yards. And here's the best part. It's actually part of a protected park, so no boats in the harbor, just you, the sun, and those incredible views.
It's that Dior connection that really gets me, though. It really shows how Portofino has become this, like, haven for luxury brands. And you know what that attracts, right? A certain clientele, people who just appreciate the finer things in life.
Oh, for sure. And we can't forget about Bagnifiore's history. I mean, we're talking iconic. This beach, it was a favorite for people like Brigitte Bardot and Elizabeth Taylor. I can practically hear the vintage Hollywood gossip now.
It's true. Portofino has this undeniable allure. It's glamorous, and it transcends generations.
Okay, we are deep in Portofino's world of, like, pure luxury here. But before we get too swept up in all this glitz and glamour, can we take a step back for just a sec? Expert speaker, what do you think about this whole high-end experience thing? Is Portofino really all sparkle and no substance, or is there, like, more to it than meets the eye?
Uh-huh. That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Portofino, well, it definitely offers a very specific experience, that's for sure. I mean, it's luxurious, yeah, and exclusive, for sure. And it comes with a price tag. Oh, yeah, it definitely comes with a price tag. But you know what? That's not for everyone, and that's totally cool. That's the thing about travel. It's all about finding what really speaks to you.
I hear you. It's about finding the right fit
Yeah,
for your travel style.
and the budget, right?
Exactly. And Portofino, it definitely caters to a certain type of traveler, right? I'm talking about someone who appreciates the finer things in life, someone who enjoys those luxurious experiences, you know what I mean? And hey, maybe they wouldn't mind brushing shoulders with a celeb or two, even if it's just in their imagination. So maybe not the best spot for like backpackers on a super tight budget.
Yeah, probably not their first choice. You're right. But on the other hand, if you want to like really dive into that old world Italian glamour, right?
Hmm.
If you want a taste of the good life, well, then Portofino could be an absolute dream, you know?
That makes sense. I guess it's all about having the right expectations from the get-go. Right. Okay, so we've done the whole glamour thing, but our sources, they're hinting at a different kind of escape now, something a little more, off the beaten track. Are you ready to switch gears and see what this Porto Venere is all about?
Oh, for sure. I am so ready for this one. Porto Venere, it offers something totally different than Portofino, you know? But it's every bit as captivating, I think, in its own way.
Rick Steves, he calls it less crowded than Cinque Terre. Did you see that? And
Yeah.
get this? He even mentions a connection to Lord Byron. Yeah, that Lord Byron, the poet. Intriguing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
He even calls Porto Venere the sixth land. Like it almost should be part of the Cinque Terre, right? But it's managed to hang on to its own thing, you know?
You know, there's just something so captivating about a place that feels undiscovered. And that's exactly the vibe you get with Porto Venere. It really is like finding a hidden gem, one that most tourists haven't even heard of.
Totally. And getting there now, that's an adventure in itself. No direct trains, which
Yeah.
honestly makes it even cooler. You've really got to want it, right? You got to take a bus or a boat from La Spezia. But honestly, that journey, that's all part of the experience.
100%. It's that feeling, that anticipation.
Right.
Right. And that feeling of like being rewarded for
Yeah.
going off the beaten path. And speaking of rewards, those views from Porto Venere, they are supposed to be incredible, especially the ones overlooking the Gulf of La Spezia.
Oh, tell me more about those views. The article mentioned something called the Gulf of Poets.
Yes, the Gulf of Poets. That's the Gulf of La Spezia. And it's called that for a reason, believe me. Lord Byron, he was completely taken with it. I mean, the guy used to swim in it, even when the seas were rough. He really found inspiration in all of that wildness.
Wow, talk about a dramatic muse. But what is it about Porto Venere's views, though? What makes them so special, even compared to Cinque Terre? And that's already pretty stunning, right?
Well, it's all about perspective. See,
Yeah.
Porto Venere, it's on this peninsula, and it juts out into the Ligurian Sea. So you're not just seeing coastline here. You're basically surrounded by water on three sides. Okay, picture this. Porto Venere, with those colorful houses cascading down to the harbor. And then you've got dramatic cliffs, islands scattered across the Gulf. And then way off in the distance, the Apuan Alps rising up like this majestic backdrop. It's a view that will stay with you forever, I'm telling you.
Wow. Okay, you are definitely painting a picture with your words. I can practically feel that sea breeze and smell the salt air. So we've got those views and we've got literary history, but what about the town itself? What's the vibe like in Porto Venere?
Porto Venere, well, it's this captivating mix of history and natural beauty. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which tells you something, right? I mean, you'll see remnants of those ancient Roman settlements. You'll see medieval fortifications and some stunning, absolutely stunning examples of Genoese architecture. And it's all set against those amazing coastal views.
Talk about stepping back in time. Speaking of history, Chiesa di San Pietro, this 13th century church, get this, is perched right on a cliff. And it's super close to Byron's grotto, the actual cave where they say Lord Byron wrote some of his most famous work. Can you imagine?
Oh, the stories those walls could tell, right?
Right.
Porto Venere just has this timeless quality. It draws you in. It's not surprising that artists and writers, travelers, they've been captivated by this place for centuries.
So we've wandered through those ancient little streets. We've felt that Ligurian sea spray on our faces. And hey, maybe even brushed shoulders with, like the ghosts of poets and movie stars. We've really explored two, totally different sides of this amazing Italian Riviera, haven't we? But now comes the really fun part. We get to figure out which one calls to you.
It's time to listen to your inner travel compass.
Right, like that.
So what's it going to be? That Portofino sparkle, does that allure speak to you? Can you see yourself stepping off that yacht, designer sunglasses on, ready for a day of pure indulgence?
Ooh, I can practically taste that Aperol Spritz right now.
Right, but maybe you're picturing something a little different, you know?
Yeah.
What about getting lost in a maze of those narrow streets, discovering these hidden little cafes tucked away in those ancient alleyways, soaking up all that history and charm in a place that feels, I don't know, almost untouched by time?
Oh, that slower pace, those little moments of discovery, that's a special kind of magic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So which one is it? Which one fits your travel style? The high-end glamour of Portofino?
Yeah.
Or maybe those enchanting whispers of Porto Venere?
Ugh, it's a tough one, I've got to say. Okay, but let's try to make this a little easier, all right? Imagine this. It's the end of a perfect day, right? But in each destination, what's calling to you?
Ooh, I like where you're going with this.
Okay, so picture this. The sun is setting over the harbor in Porto Venere. And get this, you stumble upon this tiny trattoria like tucked away on this cobblestone street. You can smell the fresh pesto in the air. And you snag a table outside. The owner, this friendly old man with like these twinkling eyes, he greets you like a long-lost friend. And then you spend the evening just enjoying this authentic Ligurian cuisine. You're surrounded by locals, their laughter mixing with the sound of the waves in the harbor.
Ah, now that is what I call la dolce vita. All right, your turn. Paint me a picture. What's that perfect Portofino evening look like?
Okay, get ready for this. So, you've spent the day exploring the harbor, right? Checking out those high-end boutiques, maybe even taking a dip in the crystal clear waters of Bagnifiore. And now, draped in your finest linen, you step off this sleek motorboat right onto the piazzetta, and it is bathed in sunshine. There's just this electric energy in the air as you make your way through the crowd. You catch snippets of conversation, like a dozen languages all around you, and then you find at the perfect table, overlooking the harbor, naturally. You've got a chilled glass of Prosecco in your hand, the sounds of Italian chatter and laughter washing over you, and then boom, the sky explodes with color.
See? They both sound amazing, don't they?
They really, really do, but I think it comes down to this. The best destination, it's the one that, I don't know, it speaks to your soul, it's your version of the perfect escape.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe this is just the start of your Italian adventure, right? I mean, why choose just one when you can experience both?
Now you're talking. A little Portofino sparkle, followed by some Porto Venere tranquility. Yes, please. Well, there you have it, folks. 2 incredible destinations, each with its own unique charm. We've given you the inside scoop. Now it's your turn. Let your wanderlust be your guide. Safe travels.